Alrighty. Yeah, I know it's a weird time. I also know this isn't exactly something a lot of people probably want to see me doing often, but I just like doing it, and I feel like getting my stream in now, so I have more time later today for doing other things. It's the thing with doing daily streams. And new special transports. Oh man, I don't think I've done a single one. Let's see. Ooh, that's a lot of money. That's a long-ass trip. That's also a long-ass trip. That's basically almost as far as I could drive. Yeah, that's not a great... It's not a great. This will take me to somewhere new, and it's from within Texas? To somewhere in Texas? I need to discover a lot of these locations. Yeah, I think I'll do this one, because I have 10 hours to get to it, so... How I used to use these as basically my streams, my game to stream while doing like a state of the channel kind of deal. And like I still kind of feel like doing that. Like I partially just wanted to do this today because of just like how nice it feels to be over halfway through my goal for the month. Like for those who don't know, because like they might just be showing up, I've been streaming literally every day this month, which is quite the rarity for me, and not something I honestly thought I could do. I used to stream all the time, and then depression started hitting me really bloody hard, and also just burnout would happen. And sometimes I would just get salty and stop for no good reason other than I'm just a mentally broken person. But I'd actually been off and on watching Josh Jepson's Everyday May, which is the same idea, only it was basically doing a vlog every day for the month of May. And, like, I basically had the thought of, like, well, okay, if Josh could do it, maybe I could do it too. So, yeah, that's what spawned the idea of me doing literally something with the exact same name, except in June instead of May. And like, I know to a lot of people, the idea of like, streaming's easy. Well, if it's so easy, go do it. It ain't easy. I know this idea that it's easy comes through because like, you know, oh, well, you're just... Car, what are you doing? You know, you're just sitting here talking and playing video games, and playing video games isn't hard. It's like, yeah, but see, here's the thing. Sit around and try to find something to talk about for like 3 hours, with trying not to stop talking at any point. Because you gotta remember, you basically got to stream in a way that you would probably watch. Like, that's kind of the thing with streaming. Like, if you wouldn't watch your own content, then you need to improve your content to the point where you would watch it. And I feel for the most part, I would watch my own content, though there's a lot of moments where I would get very annoyed as a viewer. Wait, no, that's not a gas station I can use. I was like, wait, gas. I'm gonna need gas, but no. Like, the amount of times I'll just be sitting here not saying anything does kind of annoy me, even as I'm streaming. That's why I like getting ranting about something, is because that gives me something to talk about, because I'm ranting. Which I do actually have something that I can rant about today. And it's mostly just because, you know, you watch enough tech channels and you're gonna run into advertisements for various pre-built companies. And there's one that just, it baffles me. And that is Build Redux. I do not understand their pricing. Okay. They have, on their lowest model, you know, select it, add to cart, finish kind of thing. They have a 3060, which, you know, is a not bad graphics card. I'm not trying to say the 3060 is bad. It's overpriced, but it's not bad. It is an improvement over the 2060, which, you know, that's something. And it's not a small improvement either. It's a lot better than the 3060 Ti to 4060 Ti, which there's virtually no difference. But the 3060 comes in two flavors. A 8 gig VRAM version and a 12 gig VRAM version. These are basically the same price. And the 12 gig version is better in just about every way. Build Redux, and this price is around $300 for this graphics card. Build Redux is charging you $400 for an 8 gig 3060. For $400, you could buy a 3070, which is better than the 3060 in just about every conceivable way. I did not realize there was a car there. Oh well. I need my high beams. Like, their business model, at least what they claim it is they basically charge you the build fee and otherwise you're just buying the parts. Which I suppose is technically true. You are just buying the parts they advertise, except when they don't actually tell you what that part is going to be. I mean, literally, the power supply is just, it's a 750 watt. Like, well, what brand? It's 750 watts. Okay, but what brand? Well, it's $90. Okay, but what brand? Like, what power supply? They don't want to tell you that information. With that information, you'd be making an informed decision. But, like, it's also a thing with the RAM. For the most part, they won't tell you what RAM they're giving you, so they can basically just give you whatever they feel like and probably charge you more for it. Like, I mean, even the graphics card. They tell you it's an Asus graphics card. It's an Asus 3068 gig. But there's multiple of those. It's also not something that I feel that's the spot they shouldn't be going. Yeah, you know, this specific brand. Like, that's the spot where they should be going. Yeah, how about, like, it's $300-ish, so let's average that up to $320, and you get what you get. You know, I get not all 3060s are created equal. Not all graphics cards are created equal. But when you're gonna charge someone the price of a 3070 for a 3068 gig, that's a little scummy. They also give you a case, which I forget the exact case, but I looked it up yesterday, and it comes with 3 pre-installed fans. Redux then takes those fans, chucks them in the bin, and makes you buy 4 new fans for $40. So they effectively charge you $40 to throw away 3 fans, well, to add 1 fan to the case, basically. When a single fan is like $10. And it's basically the exact same fan that they're ripping out of it that they're putting back in, which gives me the impression that they're buying the 4-pack of fans for $40, and then just putting the 1 extra fan in the case, and charging you for the full 4, which I get, they gotta make money, but they should be transparent about this. Like, they also, with their lowest end system, and even their mid-range system, they both use a i5 12400F. A not particularly hot CPU. Ah, but I could take this job and it's right from here. Ah, the game's gonna crash. No. Like, it's not a particularly hot CPU. It can run perfectly fine for gaming applications on the stock cooler. Like, it just can. Like, there's no issue there. But they charge you $40 for a Hyper 212. Something that is objectively overkill for that CPU, but at the same time also horrifically outdated and is not even something you could carry forward onto a hotter CPU. It is literally as useful to you as if they were just to give you the stock cooler. But if they just give you the stock cooler, then they can't charge you that extra $40 for the outdated cooler that they probably got for like $10 used. Like, the 12400F is not a hot CPU. And they can't even use the argument of, oh, well, maybe, you know, it's in case someone wants to do, like, video production work on it. You know, I'm gonna take this job. I'm gonna regret taking this job. I'm gonna take this job. Because here's the fun thing with the F-SKU CPUs that I didn't know when I bought the one I bought. That integrated graphics that the F-SKU is missing is really valuable for video production. And for really any production task. The F-SKU is the gaming SKU. Because the integrated graphics really does not matter to the gaming performance. It really only matters for production. Which is where a stock cooler on the 12400F would start to struggle. But once again, you're not going to be doing production work on a 12400F. Like, honestly, I shouldn't be doing production work on my 13600KF because it doesn't have the integrated graphics, which would help it immensely in doing production tasks. But it's what I've got, and I will probably replace it at some point because I would have a much better experience with a just regular K version. But the regular K version was more expensive. The real annoying thing is knowing that the integrated graphics is probably in the CPU. I just don't have access to it because it's been locked off. But, like, the premise of Build Redux is a good premise. It basically lets you get pre-built, pre-built expectation out of custom build quality and cost for the most part, because like their build fees like $100. But then they make such weird decisions on the parts, and I just don't understand. And they're better than they used to be. They are better than they used to be. They used to slap a water cooler on a really low wattage CPU. Like, literally a 240 mil AIO was what they were putting on a 10400F. Like, it's just one of those things where, like, there's so much missed potential. I could really use some fuel, so even though the game wants me to kind of pull out, I'm not going to. No, it's past this where you pull in. Well, could I pull in from this side? I'm gonna see. Yes, I can. It's probably meant to be like the exit, but... Where am I getting my fuel from? Over there. What? Oh, I may have just kind of screwed this up. This load isn't hard to pull around, so... that is a good thing. I definitely need fuel, though. But, like, if you were to manually build, like, gather all the parts yourself, the exact build, or at least, you know, exact specs of the build that Build Redux has as their good entry-level build, you would save, like, $400 to $500 over what they're charging you. Albeit $200 of that is, well, actually, I was factoring this into it, so only about $100 of that is basically just in not buying the extra fans. Like, especially on a 3060 and a 12400F, you probably don't need much more than the stock fans of whatever case you're getting, as long as it's not an awful case. Like, even the case I have would probably be perfectly adequate with its stock fans for that setup, because that's not going to be a terribly hot setup. Like, I don't get it. I am one of the things that is an easy spot to save money if you're going to build that exact build yourself, which I'm not a computer guy. I couldn't tell you if that's actually a bad build or not. It doesn't seem like it would be awful for gaming. Like, I'm not a huge computer nerd kind of thing. I know a lot about computers, but, you know. It doesn't seem like an awful build. But they are putting into it a, I think it's like a B750 or whatever motherboard. Same sort of motherboard I have. Which I literally only got so I knew it would have compatibility with the 13th gen CPU I was putting in it. You could literally have got, with the 12400F, you're not going to be losing anything to go with a bare minimum, bottom of the barrel, $80 motherboard. Instead of the $170 to $200 you'll be spending on a more fancy motherboard that you won't even be able to use all the features of because your CPU is just simply not up to the task. Like... I should just go 90. 91, I guess. Get some distance between me and that truck up there. Oh, hey, the limit's dropping. I think that's actually around what I'm going. Yeah, 97. It's around what I'm going. No, I'm basically at what I'm going. But, like, I'd sat here and played around with a custom build yesterday just to see if I could basically build something that was a lot cheaper than what Build Redux does. And, like, it wasn't hard. Like, quite simply, if I had the capital to do it, I'd consider undercutting Build Redux by about $100, selling computers with identical specs, and just simply using cheaper parts. And I'd still be making, you know, $200-300 per computer I sell. Like, because theoretically Redux sells computers, so theoretically it would not be that far-fetched to assume that a computer with identical specs but is cheaper would probably also sell, and would probably sell faster than theirs do. And Mr. Police Officer, the limit is 89. It's 89. You're speeding, Mr. Police Officer. Now it's higher. Like, there's so many things with the Build Redux build that you could very easily cut the cost of that item and it would not matter. I mean, one of the things is they always include, or at least seem to always include, a add-in Wi-Fi card. Instead of just selling you a motherboard that has built-in Wi-Fi. I get that add-in Wi-Fi card is probably better Wi-Fi than what the built-in Wi-Fi would be. Maybe. But let's be real, most gamers aren't running on Wi-Fi. They're running Ethernet. Because Ethernet is faster, and it always will be faster. Wait, I should be in this lane. But I mean, for the exact same cost, well, actually it's less because their costs are in US dollars and mine is in Canadian. I paid $170 for the Gigabyte motherboard I've got that has Wi-Fi. I've got Wi-Fi. If I wanted to, I could use it. I just don't want to. I use it if I ever take my computer upstairs, but even at that point, I could have made do with like a $2 little USB Wi-Fi adapter. But they charge you 170 US dollars, which is like 230 Canadian, for a motherboard without built-in Wi-Fi, with all the same features that my motherboard has, because it's the exact same chipset. Like, guys, Hello, Volantis. Welcome to me rambling about a pre-built company. A computer pre-built company. Because I had nothing else to ramble about, so I've just been rambling about that. Because shockingly, 14 has not given me much to ramble about lately. It's not given me much to praise either, but, you know. It hasn't done anything awful lately. Yeah, I saw that as I was sending the notification out on Discord. I was gonna do 14 again today, but I just did not feel like playing. I kind of felt like it yesterday, like I'd feel like I'd want to play today, and then just, nah. I'll do this legitimately, because my truck's already kind of beat up. It's not great. It's better than A Realm Reborn, but it still has a lot of issues. Like, key example, Mr. Einstein, it's Dragoon Man, Mr. Einstein, being shocked to learn, like, it's this massive revelation that there's dragon blood in the Ishgardians, even though he himself already told us that. Like, he himself says that. Maybe not in all Ishgardians, but he definitely makes mention to it being in himself. Like, so it's not really a shock, or at least it shouldn't be, yet he says it like it's this big revelation. Well, he reacts to the dragon telling us that as if it's this big revelation, but it's not. We know this. But then again, I'm also not terribly far through the actual story of Heavensward either. At least I wouldn't think I'm all that far through. Looking at my level, given I'm like 56, you'd think I'm basically done, but, you know. I know better. I know I'll probably reach 60 long before the end of that expansion. Which I will not have access to unless I buy the game. Which I'm tempted. I am very tempted, just so I can try the Red Mage. But also at the same time, like, given I am Canadian, that's not a small investment. I mean, as I've mentioned a few times, to get the entire package, it's like $100 and some. Like, that's quite the investment. And that's only the entire package with 1 month of game time. It's not something you can buy on the Steam page, so I would assume? Why is everyone going so slow? But quite honestly, I don't know. I could not tell you. Because it doesn't really make mention much. Like, of much on the store page. Other than making it abundantly clear, because I imagine they probably got a lot of complaints, that the game does require an active subscription for you to play, and that buying the game gives you 1 month worth of game time. But yeah, if I have to buy... Basically, if I have to buy Endwalker to get everything, then yeah, that's basically a $100 investment. Because on the Steam store page, like, it's just Endwalker. That's the only expansion you can buy. So... which I still kind of dislike that they charge for expansions. And, like, I know the argument is, like, oh, well, they need to make their money back from the development time. It's like, yeah, but they've done that through the subscriptions. And they'll continue to do that through subscriptions. Ah, jeez. And, like, I always also have the example to draw upon of EVE Online, which I don't think has ever charged for an expansion, and is also a subscription-based MMO. And also doesn't have the backing of Square Enix behind it. Like, it's not like even if they weren't making money on 14, that they would be struggling financially. This is Square Enix. Like, they got money. That ain't a problem. But I will definitely consider it. There's a lot of various benefits that the Canadian government is giving out next month that I'll definitely have the money. It's just whether that money could be better spent on something else. You know? Considering, like, I do kind of need a new monitor. Like, I've got a setup that still works. Like, YouTube's paused my music. Like, my setup still works. I'm using basically an old TV that I replaced with the TV that's now in front of me. And I replaced the TV because it has some dying pixels on it. At least that's what I'm describing it as. Anything too dark becomes just a mess of red pixels. Like, that's why I replaced that TV. But now that my monitor is basically dead, well, I've had to dig out this old TV. And on Amazon, there is a computer monitor, 165 hertz, really cool. It's $130. That's basically the same price as the complete package for 14. Which I definitely get a lot more use out of the monitor than the game. So... But, like, at the same time, if all of the benefits come out that they say are coming out, and they come out the way the government says they're going to come out, it shouldn't be an issue. But that requires trusting the government. So, you know. Canada's very, very flawed government. Because one of the things that they say we're getting is basically a grocery supplement to anyone that receives the tri-monthly GST checks, which I do receive, that is supposed to be equivalent to basically 2 GST checks. So that would be like $270-ish. But that could also, the way they have it worded, it could also mean that we're just getting double GST for that month, which would mean just that 200, not the GST plus that 200. Because after last November, with them saying, you know, and campaigning basically on having the GST doubled for, I think it was November and January. They said for 6 months, and it would start in November. Yeah, what they meant was you would get 1 doubled GST within those 6 months. That is not what they said, and that is not what the Government of Canada's website said. Because our wonderful, flawed government decided to change what they said to appease the Conservatives after they had already committed to something. Like, I know Americans complain a lot about their government and how, like, oh, you know, nothing ever gets done. Yeah, nothing gets done everywhere, but at least occasionally something will get done in the US. Occasionally. And, you know, your government isn't normally completely held up by the minority. It sometimes is. But it's not almost always held up by that minority. Which is something I have pissed a lot of people off by proposing my own solution to. I was a global politics student, so politics is something I know some level about. And, in the Canadian government, if you ignore the Conservatives, every remaining party, because there's like 5 of them in total, the remaining like 4 parties make up well over 60% of the elected officials in government. So how about when the Conservatives decide they don't want to talk, they don't want to be part of the discussions, we just let them not be a part and pass things anyway, instead of sitting around waiting for them to stop throwing their temper tantrum so that things can actually get through the fucking government. I just broke one of my own chat rules. I apologize. As you can tell, the Canadian government pisses me off quite the amount. Canadian news also tends to piss me off because, like, not long ago, the Canadian government managed to pass something. It is something titled Bill C-11. Basically, an internet control and censorship bill. How much do you want to bet the Canadian news organizations covered that being put through our government? If you guessed basically not at all, you're correct, because there was Trump news. No joke, there was some shit going on with Trump. So literally almost every Canadian news outlet was like, nah, we gotta cover this Trump stuff. It's like, how about you cover an important thing that Canadians really needed to know about? Because if more Canadians had known about it, it may not have passed. Like, I am fully expecting at some point to have the Canadian government basically banging on my door, demanding I do more Canadian content. Because that was a stipulation of Bill C-11. It's also made YouTube kind of unusable at times, because 30% of the content shown in Canada, you know, at least shown to Canadians, must be Canadian-made content. So my YouTube feed is a lot more full of random Canadian YouTubers I've never heard of, nor do I have any interest in. Because 30% of my feed has to be Canadian YouTubers. And, you know, YouTube's algorithm can't just show you people you're subscribed to. Because I'm subscribed to multiple Canadians. You know, Proton John, raocow. They're both Canadians. raocow uploads like 3 videos a day. They could fill my recommended with raocow and I would not complain. But nah, can't do that. You gotta show me random Joe Blow. I will try to stop rambling about the government now. Like, the American 2-party system is bad, but man, is it such an improvement over the Canadian 5-party system. We have 3 main frontrunners, and like 2 alternate parties that almost always manage to grab at least a small handful of seats between them. Which basically means we almost never have a majority government. which basically means it's irrelevant who you support up here in Canada, because you'll almost never see a majority government up here, which means that whichever government wins has to still work with the side that lost. Which, you know, in theory would be a great thing. Except it isn't. Because there's a reason they're opposite political parties. They don't agree on things. If they agreed on things, there wouldn't be more than one political party. Which is why I'm very envious of countries that have basically a proper choice-based election system. Where when you're filling out your ballot to vote, you basically number the candidates in the order you would prefer. So if there's 5 candidates, you put 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which are whichever ones you want, or you could put just 1 and nothing, or you could draw a dick, walk away. All of that would be allowed. But that basically means that, say, if your number 1 vote loses, your vote then goes to your number 2 vote, who is presumably somebody that, they're not your first choice, obviously, but you wouldn't mind them. You don't mind their policies. Which then basically ends up leading to you having not only, at the end of an election, a majority government, but also a government that the majority of people support. Unlike in most Western countries, where the majority of people do not support the government. Even using, the US as an example, I can guarantee you half of the population does not support the Biden government. They voted Biden because that's the party they vote for, but they don't support his version of it. But I will stop rambling about government then. I know that's not exactly something people want to hear. A lot of people are very protective over their beliefs and who they vote for and all that crap. I couldn't care. One final thing I'll say on government, on that topic of people being that protective, I am perfectly fine telling everyone who I voted for. Absolutely nobody. I have not voted once since I turned voting age, because there is quite simply no point. It doesn't matter who wins. And it'll never matter who wins. Not until there's actual governmental reform. What? Do I have to, cross the... But... What? Oh god, game's crashing. I don't know why it does that. I might just have to turn on VSync. That'll probably fix the problem, because I think it's a frame rate issue. Maybe. I don't honestly know. How am I supposed to... I'll actually do that. You know what? Because I have also done that, let's also... Let's see if that works now. How am I supposed to get over for a weight inspection? Hey, last saved here. I'm gonna pull over into this other lane. Like, am I supposed to... Yeah, I'm probably This feels wrong. But it wants me to do this, so... I'm over here now. There's probably another one further ahead, but I don't know that. And I'd rather not get penalized. Because, yeah, I don't really even see one up ahead, unless that's one, but that's way too close. Hey, you're following Kadlana. Come on, bus, hurry up. Bus. Bus, why? Okay. Frickin' buses, man. Yeah, I think I was supposed to, like, turn here and then get around that way. How I did it worked. Yeah, I should have all together next month roughly about like almost $500 of money income. Which will be nice. Which, like, as I made mention of, like, I am considering getting a full, like, the actual paid version of 14. But at the same time, like, it's a lot of money to keep that game running. I mean, as I've mentioned, it's basically $15 a month for me. I get that's not what the subscription is in US dollars, but I'm not spending US dollars. I'm spending Canadian dollars. They are not equal. So, like, basically, that's like $45 every 3 months to play 14. At that kind of money, I could literally almost be I could almost just transition to chase whatever the popular game of the month is. And, you know, of course the right lane's gonna end. Car, why are you slowing down? Why is everyone going so slow? But, like, I could also literally put that $45 every 3 months into quite a few other things. Maybe on YouTube 100 subs, but on Twitch I've got 3 viewers, so. Because I'm streaming on both Twitch and YouTube. So that's just what I do. And if Twitch ever complains, then I guess I'll just transition to just Twitch. But Twitch has to complain first. Technically, both services do get a slightly different experience, because the YouTube stream is delayed. And it's delayed in a way that I can't fix. Like, it'll always be more delayed than Twitch. Yeah, I may as well speed up. Watch the limit drop the moment I get to 121. That's what always seems to happen. Meme sheep? Nah, ain't no meme sheeps here. Those are inappropriate. Oh man, New Mexico. As opposed to Old Mexico. And Current Mexico. And Left Mexico. Why is everyone going so slow? Well, I mean, there's a bus. That's why this lane's going so slow. Buses are just the menace of the road. Man, I kind of wish I could just set a custom frame limit. Probably could if I went and dug through the INI files and manually changed things, but there really should just be options. Because having it at 60 does mean that occasionally it's going to dip below 60. Even though my hardware is capable of multiple hundreds of FPS, it's going to dip below 60 at times. And I'm only even running under the assumption that I'm crashing like from the main menu because of the high frame rate in the menu. Because in menus in this game, I get almost like 600 FPS. It's a lot of frames. Yeah, back on something I was rambling about way earlier of Build Redux. I honestly don't think, as much as the premise of that company is good, I honestly don't think I could ever recommend anyone buy from them. just because of how awkwardly bad their pricing is. Because I would not be surprised if you could probably, like, ooh, that was a frame drop. I would not be surprised if you could still go to, like, say, Dell and buy a hardware-wise better computer than what Build Redux is offering at their lowest end for less money. It'll probably be hampered by bloatware buying from Dell, so unless you know how to remove all the bloatware, you know, which, I mean, to be fair, is not difficult. You just have to factory reset the computer. Like, that's basically all you have to do. Just open it out of the box, factory reset it. Cleans away all the bloatware. Now, if you are going to buy a Dell computer, I don't think I could recommend you do that immediately. At least give it like a year, make sure the computer works. Minimum give it a couple months. The bloatware is going to be annoying, but if you factory reset it, then Dell can be like, well, these problems were your fault. You should have left the settings and everything alone, and then it wouldn't have broke. So basically, you just leave it like that for a few months so that if something does go wrong, you can get it fixed under the warranty they force on you. Man, that vehicle does not know what it wants to do, other than get in the way. Really, little van? You're going like 90 in a 120 zone. You're being passed by the truck. I would give it the barricade treatment, but I'm already damaged. Barricade treatment being, I would shove it over this barricade. But I'm already kind of damaged, and I don't want to make it worse. It's, I think, 105? Yeah. Yeah, like, it's just... There's so many other pre-built companies that give you either the same performance for less money than Build Redux, or significantly better performance for not much more money. Like, I don't know if this is still the case, but I know when Gamers Nexus covered their Build Redux computer that they got, there was another pre-built of the Skytech Kronos, which, from what I remember, was not a pre-built they recommended. Like, it was not great. For like $1,800. But it had a much better CPU in it. It had an RX 6800. There's another frame drop. God, I hate running at the refresh rate. Can I just set a fucking FPS cap of like 100? That way I'm not going to notice these drops. Yeah, I want to do something really quick. Oh, it makes me so sad. Ooh, AMD, why is your software not working? AMD? There we go. I just wanted to get the overlay up. Like, my computer is positively fine with the the refresh rate set. Like, my GPU utilization is like 20-some%. The thing's like 20 degrees over ambient. I honestly doubt its fans are even on right now. I don't know, though. Really, YouTube? Really? I could see it starting. With the freaking... Are you still watching? Yes, YouTube. I am still watching. Yeah, I honestly don't know if my GPU fans are running when I want them to run. Because, well, I would run MSI Afterburner, but it seems to conflict with other things causing problems. And I've yet to find the GPU fan settings in the Catalyst Control Center, which seems to be what it conflicts with. Oh, Ray Lane's ending. So, like, I don't know. All I do know is that I'm not someone who really cares too much if my computer makes a lot of noise. And I'd quite honestly rather the GPU fans be running at, like, 60 to 80% when the GPU's at, like, 50 to 60 degrees. And if the GPU reaches 70, I'd rather it be running a full tilt, where most default patterns, those fans never go higher than 50, even at, like, literal cooking the GPU temperatures. It's still just like, nah, because it'll make too much noise. It's like, if my GPU is literally running 90 to 100 degrees, I want it to be making noise to cool itself. Like, I will never fully understand this mindset of, oh, we can't have the computer making noise. It's like, why have a computer if you never want to hear it? Why allow buses on the road if they're not gonna follow the speed limit? Gods. This is sad. Oh, and now the bus moves into this lane. Okay, little car, you can go. And I'm gonna join you in going. I mean, of course the little shit pulls over at a slight uphill, making it take me longer to accelerate. But, you know, that's just how buses be. They're a menace. Buses are a menace to society. You will never change my mind on this. Cruise control was already on, wasn't it? Yes. Yes, it was. Man, I really wish I had some sort of indicator. Man, there's a lot of, like, graphical artifacting that I would assume would be because of VRAM usage being too high. But, like, my VRAM's good. I still got 4 gigs of headroom. Which does kind of play into... Oh, there was a vehicle there. Well, it's not there anymore. It does kind of play into why I chose the graphics card I did, and why I wish I had gone with a 6800, because it has even more VRAM. Like, if I had gone with the NVIDIA offerings that I could afford, I either would have had worse graphical performance than the 6700 by going with a 3060 12 gig and having the same VRAM, or I could go with roughly equal to better performance depending on the game with a 3070, and literally I would be over my amount of VRAM. Currently I'm using more VRAM than the 3070 is capable. Like, I'm at 8.2 gigs of VRAM in use. Like, that is more than an 8 gig card is capable of. Which is something to note. Like, that's one of the reasons why I'm avoiding NVIDIA, aside from just NVIDIA is overpriced as hell. is just simply their insistence that 8 gigs of VRAM is enough. Oh, it's gonna make me pull in, isn't it? Ah, you son of a biscuit. Okay, little car, you need to get past me. I hate the wait station crap. Really, truck? You're gonna do that? Like, there's actually something I'd actually left a comment on a completely non-tech related video. It was actually a War Thunder video by Spookston, where he was talking about how he was noticing a lot of like random pop-in and textures not loading properly after he put the game on 4K. And it's like, yeah, you probably don't have a graphics card capable of handling 4K. Even if the GPU die itself is more than capable of it, the VRAM may not be. Like, you generally want at least 12 to 16 gigs of VRAM for doing anything 4K. And most NVIDIA graphics cards from the past, you know, couple generations have been just stuck at the 8 gig mark. Unless you want to shell out stupidly high amounts of money. And then NVIDIA goes on to complain about all the people still using 1080 Ti's. Like, no shit. The 1080 Ti is just flat out better than basically everything after it until you get to, like, the 2080 well, specifically the 2080 Ti and the 3080 and the 3090 and the 4090 and debatably the 4080, but that's very debatable. You know, it having 11 gigs of VRAM makes it arguably better, especially in this age of 4K gaming, than any graphics card with 10 gigs of VRAM or less. Because it lets you actually play at 4K. And not have a worse experience than if you were to, you know, just play at, say, 2K. But like, I did really consider when I was building this computer getting like a 3070. Or even possibly buying a used 3080, even though that was still ludicrously expensive. But ultimately, I did decide, nah, the 6700 and, 6700 XT, because there is a regular 6700 as well, was just the better choice. Though ultimately I did want the 6800, I just had people talk me down from it, and I still kind of want it. Like, ultimately, I would have had the money to buy it. My bank account would be a little lighter than it is at the moment, but I would have still been able to afford it without touching my savings. You know, with this section of the Gygus boss theme, I still really wish it would have kept the original, like, the opening part of it. I kind of wish that would have been the entire theme. Like, I know a lot of people like Pokey Means Business. Like, they like that it goes hard. But I feel like it would have had the same or better impact if it had stayed in, like, the chiptune style instead of going, like, heavy metal. And it's still a good boss theme. It's definitely less atmospheric than the rest of the Gygus theme, but, you know. Man, I don't think I can make this entire trip on one tank of fuel. So I may as well refuel while I'm right here. And thinking of it. I don't know how I'm supposed to get into here, but this is how I'm doing it. Hello, Frisk. How you doing? Yeah, you're kind of on camera. Well, now only your butt's on camera. And there she goes, running away. Oh, I think I was supposed to, like, turn there and then... hopping the curb made more sense. I'll never fully understand the keep right of highways. Like, I get the exits are on the right, which is probably part of the reason, but also the entranceways are on the right as well. So that means, you know, traffic joining the highway, which is not going to be at highway speed, is joining on the side everyone's supposed to be driving on. One would think it would be keep left unless exiting, instead of keep right except pass kind of thing. Man, this is a long-ass trip. That truck looked like it wanted to pull out. Okay, both of them were waiting for the other to go. Clearly those were two Canadian drivers. Not all of us are as impatient and pushy as I am. Yeah, I honestly can't wait for the day that the regulatory body behind now regulating the internet up here in Canada has to explain to me why they don't think me as a Canadian is Canadian enough for their regulations. Because, yeah, gotta have Canadian content. As if I'm not Canadian. Thus making the content I make Canadian content. Considering, you know, how they count that for, you know, movies and TV, which they already regulated, was it just had to be made in Canada. I just accidentally hit my parking brake. This freaking cord. It's way too stiff. Like, I'm just trying to set the freaking controller down so I don't have to hold it. Because I only really need one hand. Whoa, why is the limit suddenly lower? I was kind of hoping that was just a bug and that it was going to immediately go back up to a reasonable speed, but I guess this is what I'm going at now. Yeah, I'd honestly quite love this regulatory body to explain exactly what they want. Because they've never actually explained what they want. Other than, you know, a 30% revenue cut from any viewership in Canada. Because that's totally something they deserve to have in any capacity. Like, I could understand that revenue cut if, like, this regulatory body was also investing that money back into the creators. But they're not. They're using that money to line their own pockets. It's purely for them. Like... It's like, I don't see why they need it. You know, the argument being, oh, well, they need to now fund all the people in charge of keeping track of and regulating the online content. It's like, yep, you didn't have to do this. This is an expense of your own making. Like, gods, can you imagine if, like, regular people could do that? Like, just demand, like, 30 to 40% more back in taxes because you decided to take on an extra expense and need to pay for it now? Like, the government would have none of that. But they can happily demand that. Hell, just imagine if businesses could do that. Like, yeah, we need like an extra 30% tax break. An extra 30% from the government because we took on an extra expense that we can't afford. So, pay for it. Well, looks like I'm coming over here because everyone was slowing down. And I could not get into the lane I needed to get into. Welcome back, Frisk. Guess that is my chair. Well, goodbye. I said I was gonna stop rambling about the government. And I just went right back to rambling about the government. Oh, I can bypass it this time, can I? Is it because I'm already in the right lane? Come on, you accelerate faster than I do. Man, there's a lot of planes on the road. That is not where planes belong. Sir, you are not allowed to be passing me. You're on the same speed limit I am. That is not how this works. You're not allowed to just go faster because you feel like it. It's called speeding. So I'm just gonna casually prevent you from passing me. I'll just drive here. I'm going to pull off onto the shoulder because I need a drink and I also have to use the washroom. So... I will be back in a couple of minutes. I return to the deep darkness. I also figured out what Frisk's problem is. And it's a very, very cat problem. There's windows open. Little car, you were literally slowing down to let me out, so let me out. Frickin' little car. I am not afraid to shove you out of the way. But yeah, there's windows open, so she wants the window in here open. I was kind of hoping she would forget that window's open. Because she gets really obnoxious when she wants the window open. But it's kind of raining. So I can't open my window even if I wanted to. Because I'm in a basement. And it's not a great thing to do, is open a window in a basement. Yeah, there's FPS drops. It's only 4 FPS, but that is feelable. Like, that is why, like, anyone who's like, oh, you could average 60 FPS. Yeah, averaging 60 is not a good thing. Averaging 60 means you're going to see frame drops. You want to be able to be comfortably above your refresh rate. Or at least, you know, good enough above 60 so that you know, don't notice when it drops below 60. I mean, it does seem pretty stable like this, which makes me really wish I could just have it limit, like, have VSync on in the menus. Because the menus seem to be the problem. And YouTube has paused my music again. Of which I know the response from YouTube would just be, oh, well, just buy YouTube Red. Like, come on. It's not a big deal. Just give us, like, $15 a month. It's like, no. Why would I do that? Like, well, so your music doesn't pause. Or you could just stop pausing my music. Like, it's an alternative here, YouTube. Well, I may as well just set my cruise control at 72. because I'm gonna be stuck at this speed for a while. The fact that I could technically pass right now is terrifying, because this section of road is not something you should be passing on. Here we go. Yes, contacting aliens. You technically contact them with fruit. Well, vegetables / fruit. Those tumbleweeds were in the ground. I'm gonna stay over here, because I imagine I will slowly get past that truck by doing this. And like, I know tumbleweeds are like nothing, they're just a bit of vines, but surely they would be a little dangerous to just run into. If they just floated off. Aliens! I also do realize I am being that guy right now by blocking off the left lane. Now it's nice and clear. Though who's really being that guy right now? Me or the person that set the speed limits for this road and limited trucks to 89? I think they were the ones truly being that guy. Wow, Friska's finally given in, and she's making a bed on my bed again. She's been very mad at me for reorganizing the room. I could literally wait a cycle of these lights before moving again, because I know I'm not going to make it to them before they go red again. Though I might. Wow, I actually made it. Wow. I give it like 20 seconds before I run into another set of stoplights, because there's probably another one up there by the gas station. Because of course there will be. Why wouldn't there be? Like, I mean, it's better than how the town I live in handles crap like this, because how this town handles it is literally every, like, maybe 200 meters is a new stop sign. So you literally drive down these roads by going, you know. Like, I don't, they need to remove, like, half the stop signs. Or 3/4 of them. Removing half of them would remove a lot of the problem. I'm kind of tempted to turn right, because I can almost guarantee that's another set of stoplights. And I'll be able to, turn right at a red light there. Oh boy, there's another one right here. I didn't think of that. This is somewhere a stop sign would work. You put the stop sign there, allow traffic to go straight through. Problem solved. No need for stoplights. If I did this to save time and it's going to cost me time. Man, I can't wait to start seeing actual gas stations. You know, crap like that. Which, like, I know the developers do not like that people don't like their dynamic billboards, but, like, I don't know what they were expecting. Once again, this is a spot where a stop sign would have worked. Like, this is the kind of thing that, City Skylines will teach you. Is that stoplights suck. They just suck. All they tend to do is congest your roads. Oh, and it's just a stop sign here. It's not even a stoplight. It's a stop sign. It's what the road should have been like in the earlier spots. Good. So yeah, that totally just wasted me time. But like playing City Skylines, you basically want to download a mod that allows you to remove stoplights, or you will always have traffic congestion. Because the game doesn't just give you the ability to turn off, you know, to change the traffic control measures. Like, if the game just let you directly change stoplights into stop signs, then you wouldn't need a mod for it. Alternatively, if you don't want to use that mod, the only way to prevent traffic congestion is to literally build your entire city as a grid of one-way streets that basically always are able to turn right. Turn right or go forward. Otherwise, you'll have traffic congestion. Because of the stoplights. And the fact that there is a mod for City Skyline that removes stoplights, that's all it does. And doing that eliminates basically all your traffic congestion. You know, it basically just replaces stoplights with stop signs. That basically proves that, well, you don't need stoplights. They're kind of just an inconvenience. Like, I get City Skylines is not reality, but I imagine it would probably work to replace the majority, at least, of stoplights with just stop signs. Let traffic flow. Because that's also the fun thing you can do when you're replacing the stoplights with stop signs is, you know, if you know going into it that a lot of traffic is going to be coming from one direction, you can just simply not put stop signs in that direction. You know, like using these roads as an example, like the stoplights in that previous section along the clearly main street. Well, just remove the ones along the main street itself and put stop signs on the side streets entering the main street. Ta-da! Problem solved. Congestion dealt with. I need to turn. I mean, if what I've seen from a lot of these roads is actually accurate to how a lot of American roads are like, no wonder you guys have such huge issues with traffic. And you're going about fixing it all wrong. Because the general solution seems to be, oh, let's just add more lanes. It's like, yep, more lanes isn't going to stop stoplights from existing. Like... Let's see. Jesus, that's another long trip. I don't know if I want to do a trip that long. Hey, that takes me to somewhere new. I think that's from this place. Yep. Right? Trailer's right behind me. Wait, that's a logging machine, isn't it? Oh no. Oh no. I don't want to deal with that again, but I'm gonna. Yeah, that's gonna take me into, like, freaking mountains. Probably. Screw it. I'm turning the wrong way. I'm very good at this. Yeah, I will attach it here. Because I'm going to need to do that to get this out of here anyway. And even that still may not give me enough clearance. Nope. Nope. Come on, truck, you can do it. Come on, truck, you can do it. Oh no, it begins. Yeah, it's a bit off-roading. Fixing my truck probably wouldn't be a bad idea, but I'd have to find somewhere to fix it. Oh boy, I get to go back along the road I just came through. I need to start thinking of what I'm gonna do to fill the break I'm going to be taking at the end of this month. Because, like, I'm gonna need a day or two to, like, recover. I'm already starting to feel just generally exhausted all the time from how much I'm streaming. So I'm probably gonna take a couple days off at the beginning of next month. Which, you know, maybe this is just me, but I feel like I've earned a couple days off. I know to people who don't do streaming, don't do content creation, like, it sounds silly to be like, yeah, I need days off from doing this for an entire month with no breaks. But, like, it does really start to eat away at, one, your mental just strength. I won't even say mental health. Just, you start to just become exhausted. But also, it is generally a kind of taxing thing to do. But I think what I'll probably do is I've already got some Monster Hunter Rise episodes edited, and I've got a bunch recorded. So what I'll probably just end up doing is scheduling some of those to upload and then just get on actually making content again. The main issue doing that is I need to be careful because of how YouTube works. I don't know if it still does this, but I know it used to do this, where if you upload too many things, or do too many things, in a 24-hour period, YouTube will not push notifications out to even people who have notifications turned on about everything you're doing. So, like, if I were to, say, upload a video and have 2 streams within 24 hours, the second stream would not have a notification pushed out. Which is why I highly encourage anyone watching to join the Discord, because I always announce there before I go live, or as I'm going live. You literally cannot miss a stream if you are on the Discord. I'm gonna get my truck fixed up. Getting out of here with the trailer is going to be an experience. But, yeah, my wheels are really hurting. I thought that was actually something important. I could have gone quite a while on those wheels. Okay. Yeah, I now need to get turned around. Hopefully without bashing into anything. You know what? Ah, so close. I almost made it. I love how a lot of Earthbound music can be best described by saying it's tiny music. Oh, this is not boding well already. Oh, this is gonna be a painful journey at the end, and I know it. If this takes me where I think it's gonna take me. Like, this truck should be able to handle this just fine, but I guess it can't. Yeah, I'll see if I can get more episodes of Sunbreak edited. I know I've got almost like 10 recorded. I just need to actually get them edited. Because that'll at least give me something that I can be uploading and putting out while at the beginning of next month while I'm going to be taking a bit of a break. It'll probably only be a couple days, and then I'll move to probably like a 4 to 5 day a week streaming schedule. Instead of streaming every single day. Because like, I can't take a huge break. Not if I want to actually reach the goal I have for this year. Which is 150 streams. Which I'm closing in on 50. I'm getting there. Which should tell anyone that's started watching during this month how bad I've been doing at streaming this year. We're already over 150 days into the year, and I'm not even a third of the way through. Like, I had a lot of goals for this year for the channel, but that is the one I actually set in stone that I definitely am gonna do. Like, I will make it to 150, even if I have to basically kill myself to do it. Because let's be real, I could do another everyday stream schedule in August. Like, take it easy for July and then do it basically every day in August, and then take it easy in September, do it every day in November. And then I'd be done, basically. I would be done the 150 at that point. Because I'd still be streaming through September and July, just not as much. Other trucks, you do realize the limit is 90, right? It's not 72. Or I suppose they're going like 75. Still significantly lower than 90. Not gonna lie, there's a thing I'd seen around a lot of like people sharing their various like bucket list stuff, and quite often there's literally the, oh, I want to drive 100 miles an hour at some point, which like usually they would just be like, I want to drive 100. It's like, okay, but 100 isn't all that impressive. And then they'd correct it and be like, no, miles per hour. And now that I've played like American Truck Sim and seen what 100 miles per hour is like, it's still not that impressive. Like, there are some of these roads where that's only 20 higher than the speed limit. Like, guys. Oh, there was a vehicle there. Well, it's not my fault they were there. They shouldn't have been there. I could swear I looked, but they must have been in the blind spot. Man, I am running low on things to ramble about. It's been like 2.5 hours, so makes sense. Yeah, there's probably plenty of roads around the US that, like, people routinely, whether the limit says to or not, probably reach 100 miles an hour on. Like, purely just because there'll probably be, like, effectively just long stretches of highway where there's basically no police around, and no one else particularly around other than the other traffic, so you just kind of zoom, because people don't care about the law in places where, you know, they're less likely to get in trouble for breaking it. It's funny how that works. And the highway just seems to be a prime location for people to just speed, because, you know, it's a speed suggestion, don't you know? It's not what you should be driving at, because it's the safe, you know, limit. I mean, the only exception I could see to that being stretches of road like this where trucks are limited to such a lower limit than everything else. Like, there is no way this is actually a safe speed limit. Given it's not like I would have issue driving along this road at 121. Like, that's not a difficult thing. God damn it, YouTube. Getting in the way of happy, shabby life. I have considered, while I'm streaming, to basically clean off part of my desk, like basically right over here, and have one of my laptops set up so I can basically ban people from chat without having to tab out of things. Oh, why am I yawning? I should not be tired. It's driving this truck. It's making me tired. Like, the fact that the speed limit is 70, the truck limit is 55. That is a 15 mile per hour difference. And some of these trucks aren't even going that. Likely because of buses. Look at that bus. Menace to society that it is. I'll never understand why buses tend to be so underpowered. Like, they're such big vehicles, you'd think they'd have some oomph behind them, but nah. Nah, they tend to be pretty weak. Especially school buses. Okay, bus, I'll get back behind you. I feel like I should use the shoulder to try to get ahead of things, but like... that ain't gonna work out so well. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna set my cruise control at 80 and... it's not saving me much time to go the extra 9 kilometers an hour. Which is something a lot of people really do not seem to understand about traveling. Hey, the limit went up. Now I'd actually save a significant amount of time, because I've still got basically 8 hours of travel left. But, like, the difference between, you know, going, say, 100 and going 80 kilometers an hour... within an hour is you've gone, you know, an extra 20 kilometers. Which, great. In 10 minutes, you've gone like an extra kilometer. Which is why I will never understand people who go out of their way to speed on residential roads because, oh, I'm late for work. I gotta now go like 70 or 80 in this 40 zone because I'm late for work. It's like, you're gonna arrive at basically the same time as if you went the speed limit. Only now you're putting people's lives in danger. Like, leave for work earlier. Problem solved. Like, I get very salty at people who drive vehicles and are that entitled and that bad at managing time. The entitlement comes from, I cycle a lot. At least I used to. I don't so much anymore because my bike chain is currently a bundle of rust. Because winter happens. And, like, the amount of drivers that are like, oh, get off the road. It's like, why? I'm legally supposed to be on the road. That is where bicycles are legally supposed to be. I can't say for the US, but in Canada, at the very least Nova Scotia, that's the law. Bicycles are vehicles and they go on the road. Like, even if I was to bike on the highway, the road is where I'm supposed to be. To bike on the highway, you are also mandated to have a rear view mirror, which can be really difficult because a lot of bikes are really not designed to allow you to put a rear view mirror on them. Like, the amount of fuss people cause about cyclists is just frustrating. Because it just screams entitlement. And, like, I know the response from these entitled children would be, well, you shouldn't be on the road. It sounds like you're the one that's entitled. It's like, no, I'm literally following the rules of the road. I'm following the law. And then meanwhile, you get these children who are basically like, no, I want to be able to just run you over because how dare I have to go around you or go, 10, 15 kilometers an hour for maybe a minute. It's going to make me late. It's like, well, then don't leave it till the absolute last second to leave your house. I mean, from working, I know people do that, and it's bloody stupid. Like, there were many people at the supermarket I worked at that, like, they'd be showing up to go to work every day, basically at punch-in time. Exactly at punch-in time. And there's a fun thing about how punching in worked at that supermarket. If you were more than 2 minutes late punching in, you lost 15 minutes of pay. So these people were often also complaining quite often that, I just said often, but they'd quite often complain that they're losing pay. It's like, well, show up on time. Well, I do show up on time. No, you don't, or else you wouldn't be losing pay. If you showed up on time, punched in on time, you wouldn't lose pay. But what they mean by showing up on time is that they show up exactly when they're supposed to be starting work. Which is not the point of punch-in time. The whole point of that is so you arrive 5 to 10 minutes early so you have time to put your bag, jacket, whatever you don't need for working in the designated location, and then have time to get to the punch-in clock to punch in. Because you can't punch in early, you have to punch in on time. Oh boy. Let me guess. Pull in for an inspection? Yep. At least I'm already on the right side of the road. Aw. So close. I was like a few centimeters off. I love that sign, resume speed, as if it's just something you can instantly do. But, like, a lot of people just seem really bad at managing time and take their frustration out on everyone except themselves. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if I show up late somewhere, I admit, yeah, I screwed up. You know. Though I don't think I've ever shown up late to anything other than things I've intended to show up late to. Like classes. I do that a lot. Work? No, I was always on time. I was always early. Generally around half an hour early. Now, that was partially because I went to work with my sister. And she insists on being there half an hour to 45 minutes early. Because if she isn't, she can't get her job done in the night. which, you know, I feel is evidence that she shouldn't be showing up early to demonstrate to them that, you know, what she has to do is unrealistic because she can't get it done otherwise. But even if I had my own way, I'd still show up 15 or so minutes early. And that's how I would do it when I would go in on my own. Because there'd be nights where I'd work where she didn't. And with the exception of it being nights where there was massive snowstorms, and I basically just wanted to get into the store as fast as possible, and basically just didn't want to wait around here, which was another main issue, is if I wasn't doing anything, yeah, I'd leave early, because it's not like I could do anything. I may as well head into work early. Like, I would almost always show up with 10-15 minutes left before punch-in time. Sometimes more. Never less. And, like, I do not understand why other people don't do that. Like, yeah, sure, you're not getting paid for those extra 10-15 minutes that you're in the building. You don't have to start working until you punch in. And quite simply, that's something I'm probably gonna, if I do end up getting another actual job, is something I'm going to make a full note of doing, is just not starting work until I punch in. Unless wherever I'm working allows me to then punch out early and punch in early. Because then I'll punch in when I show up, and I'll punch out when I should have punched out if I had, you know, if that had just been my shift. Or they could give me the overtime, because I'm giving them overtime. Which at that point will entirely depend on if the job I'm doing can actually be completed within the shift I'm given to do it in. Why is traffic so slow? Frickin' trucks, man. Limit's not 90 anymore. That was a state ago. Oh god, there's a frickin' road work. Well, at least it's not road work that requires the lanes to shrink. Really? Really? I know that was far from safe, but screw slowing back down. Buy something, will ya? It's the name of this track. Yeah, like, it just annoys me. But then again, I mean, that also might just be I'm a workaholic. Like, I will fully admit that. If I have a job to do, I'm going to do it. And I want to do it as much as I can. Which is something that very much annoyed me when I was working at said supermarket. Because the guy who works night produce does not work. He doesn't. He was there 6 hours a night, 5 nights a week. He would start working at about hour 5 of him being there. He would only really work an hour a night. And, like, an important thing that the produce guy is supposed to do is put the fresh order away when it shows up. Because cold chain and all that. If you take too long, technically the things on that order are now spoiled and need thrown out. Yeah, he didn't seem to understand what the cold chain was. Of that, you know, things should only be out of the fridge for, at most, 30 minutes. 30 to 45 minutes. Because the fresh order would arrive around the time he started at night, which is usually around midnight. He would not put it away until 5 in the morning. How did my truck not take damage from that? That was a case of I tried to turn and the truck just went, no. I love this truck for that reason, though. I love trucks that just fight against you. And just like, turn? Nah. It's like, why not? I don't feel like it. I don't feel like turning. It's like, please? The wheel is turned? Nah. I want to keep going straight. Come on, I'm literally going 90. Truck, get into the left lane, right lane. Jesus Christ. Cars in the center lane, just go. Allow the road to clear. Yeah, I may as well turn my high beams off. Don't really need them at the moment. And now I immediately need them again, but you know. Just kind of another thing of like, this kind of dim headlight, yeah, this sucks. But man, do I hate the freaking bright-ass LED headlights. This is someone who used to work the night shift, who quite enjoys going for walks in the middle of the night. Those headlights suck. Like, yeah, sure, that driver can see plenty. I can't see anything now. Neither can anyone coming at the person with those headlights. And they don't even have high beams on. Like no. I would not mind LED headlights if there was some sort of regulation around them. Like, they can only be X brightness. You know, X brightness in Y condition. Otherwise, fails inspection. You know. Like, you do not need to harness the power of the sun to see in the middle of the night. I am officially at the point of this journey where anything under 80 anything over 80 kilometers an hour is pointless. I could slow down to 80 right now and my arrival time would be roughly the same. Now I could slow down to 60. Wait, do I need to... Okay, no, I need this. I'm gonna pull over into the right lane, because I don't know when I need to get off. Apparently next exit. Maybe. The game does enjoy putting you into the right lane at every opportunity, whether you need to be there or not. Now I could slow to about 50, and it would not change my arrival time. Wait, am I delivering to the road itself? Okay, maybe this won't be as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was delivering into the mountains again. This road looks like spaghetti. Well, based on what I'm seeing, I'm gonna need to be in this lane anyway. I'm just gonna go because, like, I don't understand that section. Wait, no, I need to go straight. Ah, God. Well. Whoops. Is it not gonna... It didn't hit me with the violation. It's this one I need. Which basically means I get to mildly block traffic for a while because, like... I'm a bit too long. Man, I need to eat something. Probably end the stream off here with the end of this delivery, because, like, it has been 3 hours. I'm hungry. Robotics probably waiting for me. Because she is almost undoubtedly awake by now. Even the little sleepy bean was not awake when I started the stream. Take it. Okay. Wow, that dropped to like 50. I hate having VSync on. But, like, if I don't have VSync on before I do end this off, I'm gonna save just to make sure it's saved first. But, like, I'm sitting at a cool 60 right now. If I come into here and I disable that, I'm now sitting at a cool 630 FPS. Which is probably why I'm getting crashes. But yeah, that is gonna be it for today. I'm gonna get this metrics overlay off. So I thank you all very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you back here tomorrow as I continue streaming for every day through the month of June. See you all then!